All right, everyone, welcome. Thanks for being here tonight for the Freedom Family Call. I'm really excited about our speaker tonight. Before we get started, though, as we have been creating the habit of celebrating, I want you to type in the chat what you're celebrating this week, the wins that you've had in your business, the wins that you've had in your personal journey. Do not be shy. Celebrate, because if we don't have a focus on what we are thankful for, it's hard to generate more. I mean, I've learned that when we look at what we're lacking all the time, then we're just going to stay stuck in that hole. And so gratitude is a huge part of this. Yes, workout 74. So good. All right. Yeses to our 2-week challenge. New coach that wants to sign up. Yeah. Two yeses to Clean Week. You guys, if you haven't checked out Sarah's training video on Clean Week, check it out. I sent out 10 invites to Clean Week before our call. And the graphic is thebomb.com, girl. It was good stuff. I was like, let me send this graphic to you. So she does a great training. If you've never invited, or if you've been nervous of inviting, this is a great challenge to invite to. It's the holiday pregame challenge. We're going to teach things to help people head into the holidays. And she does a great training. So check that out for sure. I love how there's like 70 something messages, I think, in the thread underneath the video of all the names that people are inviting. So that's super exciting. Just wanted to announce, if you didn't see, I don't know how you didn't see because I've been talking about it a lot, but Team Retreat registration is live. So please go check it out, fill it out, and sign up for your spot. There's 25 spots available total for Pigeon Forge. It's going to be in January. It's going to be amazing. And we're all going to have those Shakeology Snuggies somehow that Allison found, if we can find them somewhere. She said, you know, worst case, we get snowed in and we get an extra day together. I'm like, that sounds great to me. Maybe we wouldn't even have to pay for it. But I'm really excited about Retreat, you guys. And so check things out on the page. Check out the Clean Week invite, because that's our focus for the week. Keep sharing your celebrations as you guys hop on. Way to go, Allison. 4 days in a row of tracking your power hours. That is awesome. 4 people interested in Clean Week. So good, so good. So many things to celebrate. So I'm really excited about tonight, you guys. We started the Freedom Academy in our group last week when Sarah did a kickoff for us about just helping people to tap into the freedom of treating your business like a business. And so this week's focus has been on your story and how that connects to your customer story. And last week we talked a little bit about how consistency is the secret sauce. And tonight I'm really excited to have our speaker, Sommer Tucker, here with us tonight to talk about the success equation and then the customer journey, because it's not just about our story. I mean, as much as, yes, it's nice to get likes on our posts to encourage us along, we're there to encourage others. It's beyond us, right? And so a little bit about Sommer, for those of you that might not know her, besides being an awesome neighbor, a good friend of mine, she has been a coach, and correct me if I'm wrong, so I'm trying to do all this from memory, but she's been a coach for 10 years. She's a mom of 3. Mm-hmm. She's an amazing wife. She is a 15-star diamond coach and a legacy club leader member. They changed it, but meaning she's earned 7 figures plus in this business. She's a passionate leader. She is a mentor. She leads with purpose. She has helped many of us through just pouring into the downline and the downline. So she's like your great grandma in the coach lineage. She has a heart for making sure you build this business with purpose, but you keep your priorities in order. And that's why I've always looked to her as a person to run like kind of your vision through, because she's good at keeping the main thing, which is your family and your marriage, and then this blessing you from the outside and pouring in. So I'm really excited to have you here tonight. I'm just going to let you take over. You guys ask questions. You have her here. Ask questions. Type them in the chat. Raise your hand. Let this be, hold on, because I know she's got a lot of energy and it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I didn't even take any Energize, y'all. None. I got my tea. Nice. And I brought my energy for sure. Thank you, Kelly, for, all of those sweet words. Kelly and I have grown really close over the last couple of years. I've really enjoyed our friendship. She's definitely someone when I'm struggling with something, I love to get her take. She can step back and take a real, a look from all different sides. So you guys are very, very blessed to have her leading you guys. But I love what y'all just did on the side. Y'all do that every day? You guys count your wins every day? Kelly, you better, girl. You better be shaking your head. I taught Kelly that a while ago. Yeah, I think so. I think that's one of the things that's missing in most people's lives is we're always reminding ourselves of everything we're doing wrong. And we're like, no crap, you're going to do things wrong. You're a human. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't surprise any of us, you know, when we mess up. The thing is, are you okay with messing up? And can you flip over to what you're doing well? And then very, very like non-self-bullying, look at what you need to change, right? Like that's really, really key. But she didn't ask me to come talk about limiting beliefs. She asked me to come talk about different topic. I mean, I could talk for hours, you guys, on this stuff, and I love it. But this topic that she picked on the success equation, something I've taught for a really, really long time. When I was trying to figure out, do I got any math people on here that love math? Like, no, just me. Everybody's like, no, I love math. You start throwing in a letter and I get all excited. You know what I mean? Whereas most people are like, why the heck is there a letter in the numbers? Like, you know what I mean? Okay, Rebecca loves math. Okay, well, me too. I interviewed today. It wasn't really as much of an interview as it was a brainstorming session with the high school that my kids go to, and they're looking for someone to head up the mindset development program portion of they do the 360 athlete, right? So it was more of a brainstorming session, what I thought that could look like. And one thing that I talked to them about many things. It was a good long hour and a half, hour and 45-minute brainstorming session. But one of the things I talked to them about was this success equation. And I love the success equation because it applies to everything. And that's what I was telling them. If we can equip these kids with some of these things, you know, as early as 15 to 18, can you imagine? Because if we're like, we really are developing rituals and habits that when utilized in other areas of our life that matter, right, to us, maybe our marriage or our current, like our job or finances, this business, they will legit create a compound effect. Okay, so the success equation goes like this. And how many of you guys are like, I know the success equation? Or okay, but not everybody. There's some people like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Is there anybody that's like, I really haven't heard, like, I know I've heard it, but I don't fully understand it. Is anybody willing to own that? Like, okay, a little bit. Okay, so the cool thing about the success equation is that if you would fall in love with it and just respect it, it will pay you in this business. It'll pay you in your fitness, your wellness journey. It'll pay you in a lot of things. Okay, so here we're just going to start with it. C, consistency. So I'm going to write this down. C plus T plus I multiplied by B equals R. Okay. So the first thing, okay, so I'm going to tell you which each one means, but the R, what you're trying to get is the result that you want. Like that is when you're thinking about high performing people, that's also what like Brendan Bouchard might call clarity. Okay. Like that might be from a biblical standpoint, that's, you know, a man without a vision will perish. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is all over the place. Like, and people are just saying it different ways. The law of focus, we can call it so many different things, but it's literally the result that you want. And you get to decide that. That's something I'm super passionate about because every single one of us come into this business with different visions, different needs. We can put it that way. You know what I mean? And that need can change and develop and grow in different seasons. And that's okay. Okay. So you like our job, like, and I want you guys to take this off your shoulder as you add to your team. Your job is not to tell them what the result is supposed to be. Their job is to tell you what result they want. That makes sense? Then, okay, once they've identified that, then you have to go back to the equation, consistency. C is consistency. There are certain things and really like going, like what you always want to do, like when you're trying to figure out, okay, I have this result I want, let's go with marriage. Okay. Go to someone, like this is where wise counsel comes in. We have to have people in our life, you know, success leaves clues. Go to someone that, you know, has been doing it for 50 years or is where like you are like that used to be where you are now that they're in a different place, and ask them, what things did you do consistently to get where you are, which is where I want to be, right? We have to be able to like leave our ego and surround ourselves by people that have what we want, and say, this is something that high performing people don't mind saying. So how'd you do that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not worried about what people will think about us. Like, you know, so in this business, there are certain things that you have to be consistent in, period. Like, do you know what I mean? There's just, if your result is, I want to make any level of money, or I want to impact X amount of lives, whatever motivates you, there are daily activities, habits, rituals, whatever you want to call them, that you must do to be successful. Okay? So the things that we talk about, you know, like you have to fill your funnel. You have to connect with people. You have to build, through connection, encouraging, lifting people up, asking questions, you build a connection. You have to do that. You have to invite people. There's no way around that, right? And you have to follow up. You have to put the presentation in front. Those are all things that we have to do. There's no way around it. Like, even where I am at today, there's no way around those things. Maybe the way that I go about it can shift. You know what I mean? Marry the mission, not the method. So there might be different methods of doing that. And we're going to talk about that. Thanks, babe. We're going to talk about that on the customer journey, but there's no way around it. I mean, every ministry, every church that wants to increase their numbers has to go to certain things that they have to do on a consistent basis, right? So that's the law of reaping and sowing. You know what I mean? You know, whatever you sow, you'll reap, right? Like, and so you have to sow certain things, right? None of us, any gardeners on here? Anybody? Oh, I know Sarah. Yeah, okay. So no, I love it. I love it. So Sarah, I bet you've never gone outside, planted strawberries, and got pissed because an avocado tree didn't spurt. Like, what? Like, right? You've never, you know, like, what the heck? No. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so we can't, and it's not in a self-bullying way, but in a very, like, just like non-emotional, okay, I haven't been planting, you know, the seeds of invite. So therefore, no avocados in Ohio. Therefore, I'm not getting the harvest of an invite. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so you have to identify those things. So if you ever, and this is what I was talking to the performance team, the athletic director, you know, like you have to identify the things that you do on a daily basis, right? So asking yourself, and very, very much like I keep saying, not emotionally attached to it. You have to change anything, you have to be aware of it, right? So you have to identify where you're at. You know what I mean? Like, this goes for in a marriage. This goes for the high school varsity quarterback. You know, you have to very, like, you know, anything, okay, the truth of where you're at right now. Okay, and this is just bonus section. Sorry, Kelly. And then what rituals got you there? You know what I mean? Okay. Like, now you're just like, okay, this is where I'm at. These are the things that I've been doing. Okay. You could use this in your wellness journey. We have to say, you can't change something. Like, have you ever met anybody that just sticks their head in the sand? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, everybody at 40 has hormonal imbalance. It's just how you ever met anybody like that? Like, I can't, they're not going to change it. Like, don't even try. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, okay. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not true. Everybody at 40 does not have hormonal imbalance. Okay. Yes. Or anyway, I could go a totally different direction on that, but you have to acknowledge where you're at, right? Acknowledge that where you want to be, that clarity, these habits, these rituals that got you there. What rituals do you need to implement to get a different result? Okay. So that's all in the consistency area. So if you're ever struggling in anything, all you have to do is identify what habits you have and identify who has what you don't. Like, this is why coaching works, because you're connecting with people, right? You have something they want. Like, okay, so play along with me on the side here. Tell me some things that, since being a part of this community or using, you know, BOD and Shakeology or the different things, how has your life changed? Tell me, like, just in the side. You can do one words. energy levels, I love it. Comfortable in my skin. Arm definition, good. I don't feel sick every time I eat it, something, me too. Finding confidence, filter on your mouth, stronger. I mean, look at these things, okay? These are all part of your journey, right? Which is your superpower, okay? Like your story is your superpower and there are people connected to it. And so when there are people out there that want what you have, the confidence, like maybe for me it's the peace about myself. Like I couldn't, I mean, today I got dressed for an interview and didn't cry in the closet. 10 years ago, getting dressed for date night was an event. Like during it was like, why even go on a date really when you're just going to go through 10 outfits and cry and ruin, going jean shopping was a thing. I mean, after I put the kids in bed, I mean, I'm talking not Cheetos, but chips and salsa, what's it called? Spoonfuls of icing. Who likes icing? Some of y'all like peanut butter, huh? My dad could go through a whole thing of peanut butter in it, like 2 days. That's crazy, right? But that, like, I no longer, that's like, I was in I had such an unhealthy relationship with food. Not that icing is not bad. Like we have to stop labeling food good or bad. My relationship to it is what was dangerous. Does that make sense? To my mental health, which then impacted everything, right? So I don't live in that space anymore. There are people out there that are tired of living in that space. And all I have to teach them, I don't have to teach them how to get a six pack. I never said I had one and I don't have one. You don't need one. There's a gap between where you were and where you are now. And there's people that want that same gap that you have. They would give anything to have the gap that you have, even though maybe you're like, well, I'm not exactly where I want to be. They don't want to be exactly where you want to be. There's this gap, and man, they would give almost anything to be able to live over here, right? If you don't respect that gap, you won't value your story, right? Okay, so all you do to teach them how to get here, what did you do? What did you do? There is something that you have done habitually to improve, right? And it's fairly simple. Most of you probably pushed play, am I right? On something. It doesn't have to be MM100, doesn't have to be 80-day obsession. I mean, I've pushed play on yoga I'm well over 100 yoga workouts this year. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I got a badge for that. Like, you know what I mean? Like a badge would pop up, when you ride the Peloton, you know what I mean? It's like 100th ride. I feel like, wait, 100th yoga. Like, do you know what I mean? I would be like, yes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be just because something released. If that's a good fit for you, awesome. But what did you do? And now I just need to show, well, I don't know all of everything, but I do know how I went from here to here. And I can show you how to do that, right? That's the same in the business, right? There's some people, okay, so tell me some things that the business has changed in your life. The business side of things, the team. Trust me, it's not all going to be financial. Paid for a car. Yeah, you did, girl. I mean, you even got like a couple seats to spare, I feel like, Tell me about the community. What did the community provide for you? Like, do you know what I mean? What were you like? Belief and friendship. Yep. Confidence. Got you pigs. People encourage when I need to work out and when you need to rest, which you won't find everywhere. Isn't that right? You got a very unique team. Valuing my story. So there are people, right, that are where you used to be or worse, that would give anything to be where you are. The reason you're not sharing it is because you don't value it, right? People take action based on their belief systems, not their standards, their belief systems, right? So my point is, there's just certain things that to be consistent in, that has to be followed, right? Not perfectly, but it has to be followed. Plus T is for time. Everything takes time, right? Everything. Sarah, give me a nod. And I guess we'll go Josh Coates, spirit fingers. If you plant, I don't know, what do you plant? Lettuce? Do you plant lettuce? Okay. Okay, give me space. Okay, so if you plant lettuce and then the next day you're pissed if there's no lettuce, or you walk outside and be like, what the hell? You know, and you like get down and you start digging up the seed and like, what's wrong with this? Maybe it's not the right seed. Maybe I need to go back to the store. Maybe if I'd order different seed. Like I see people do this all the time with the business, right? And that's not the case. It just it needed time, right? So there's things that you're going to do, right? That you're going to need to be consistent in your marriage, your finances, this business, your wellness, that you will see no change for quite some time. I call that the law of patience. Like, you know what I mean? Like you have got to trust the process, right? There's no trust required when like crop pops right up. Poof. Like, you know what I mean? Like I always worry about coaches like that. Y'all ever seen a coach where like, boom, they're like, I didn't even have to send an invite. They just all keep coming to me. I'm like, oh, this is going to be so bad. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because you have to, at some point in time, you know what I mean? You have to. So everything takes time and we need to respect that. Plus your intensity. You have to identify what intensity you can maintain, and it can change in different seasons, right? But only you can decide that. But it has to be some type of intensity that's consistent and matches the result that you want. You know what I mean? It's like with Griffin, you know, and you can ask yourself this too. He wants to play NFL football. Okay. Awesome. Tell me what kind of things you think someone that has that type of goal does on a daily basis, on the daily, you know what I mean? And he was like, well, I think they work out. I think he started 6 weeks of the work with Chad. So he came up with that idea. He's like, I think I have to minimize my injury, so I should stretch. I'm like, awesome, high five. I totally know how to do that with some yoga. So at night we stretch, right? So like there's certain things that you have to identify. Someone else that's like, you know, I'm just playing football to, you know, be more well-rounded as a lacrosse player. Okay, totally. One's not right, one's not wrong. It doesn't mean this kid that is doing it to support lacrosse is lazy. It just means that's his goal. Yes, your race, your pace, right? But you have to pick whatever things you have to be consistent in. You've identified you have to do at an intensity that you can maintain. I heard this great example. Any of you guys ever miss a workout? Or a couple? I mean, like you plan to work out spirit fingers. I feel like I got to come up with something else because that's what Josh did. But okay, have any of you guys ever overdone it the next day to kind of like doubled up on your workouts? Have you ever done that before? Let me ask you a question. Have any of you ever missed brushing your teeth? Don't be lying, y'all. Okay. I feel like Angie just looked at me like, no, girlfriend. Maybe you're like, duh. Of course you. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. So my question is, the next day, did you brush your teeth for 2 hours? You'd have bloody freaking gums, right? Would you want to brush your teeth the next day if you knew, well, I better make up for that? No, because your teeth would be raw. Like, do you know what I mean? Your gums would be raw. Why do we do that to ourselves in this business? We miss a day. We were supposed to invite 2 today. We beat ourselves up. Tomorrow I'm going to do 4. We miss the next day because 4 overwhelms us because we're used to 2. And now the next day we got 6. Well, I'll make it up on the weekend. And then we're so tired that on Saturday, I just want to sleep. And now we got back to Monday and we're beating ourselves up. Do you guys see what I'm saying? It's a spiral. You just pick right back up the next day where you left off. Does that make sense? When you miss a workout, you don't double up. You just pick right up and you're not behind. You're not behind if you're doing, let's just say back in the day, P90X took me 97 days. Does that mean like I suck more than like the person that finished in 90 days through the flu and all of that are better than me? No, they're dumb. I'm just going to be honest. Like that's ridiculous. There's a deeper root to that crap and they're going to have to dig that up someday. Right? So we have to learn, be authentically healthy, right? We have to learn how to just give ourselves grace hit what I call there's different things. I call it the but now button, but I say to Griffin before every single game, next play. It's always about the next play. You finish this play. I don't care if you just ran. And I told them this today at the brainstorming session. Like, I don't care if you just ran the touchdown of your life. If you over celebrate, you're going to end up with a freaking penalty. Now, how's that? Like, do you know what I mean? Like that always drives me crazy. Really? Like, really? You know, or how about, I don't know how many of you guys are High State fans, maybe some of you, because you live in, okay. Do you remember Ted Ginn Jr.? Anybody? Well, in one of our championship games, he ran a touchdown. It was like the first play of the game, over celebrated, sprained his ankle, was out for the rest of the game. You know what I mean? Like jumping up, acting a fool. You know? So next play, be done. You know what I mean? That's what I loved about Tim Tebow. Be done. Be done. I'm way more impressed with the people that can score a touchdown and already be focused on the next play than the person that's still celebrating, sticking a gold chain around their neck and hoop-lying about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's always next play, whether it was good or whether you totally just fumbled the ball. So Griffin, next play. I wish I could have like a little, I like volleyball because I can talk to Riley. At least I can get her think I'm talking to her. Griffin's way too far away and I want to be like, next play. But I don't want to be that crazy mom either. Have y'all ever seen some of crazy moms in the stand yelling at the top there? It's like shrieky. Yeah, I don't want to be that mom. You know what I mean? So I keep it to myself. I try to telepathically tell him next play. But the same goes for us. Okay? If you screw up, quote unquote, whatever your definition of mess up is, like maybe, you know, you meant to have 2 pieces of pizza. It was so good and you had 4. Next play, next meal, do the next right thing, period. Don't beat yourself up, all of that kind of stuff. How did I get off on this tangent? Don't really know, but it was a good one. Yes, missed a power hour. The things, your intensity. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. So an intensity, and so your intensity can increase. Would you guys agree? Like how do you start like a kinder or a first grader? Like, do your kids in first grade and kindergarten do spelling words? My kids take spelling tests in kindergarten. I was like, holy moly, I think I just played with blocks in kindergarten. Anyway, yeah. So, I mean, one of Ollie, 6 years old in first grade, his bonus word was metamorphosis. I was like, Chad, do you know how to spell that? Does Chad know how to spell that? I know, right? I'm out, you know, but Ollie doesn't know any difference. So he's like, okay, like bubblegum, mom, meta, but he put a D because he's spelling out. But anyway, how did I get off on that? About, okay. So you can build on things, right? Like, so, you know, and like kids start out with, you know, like right now, Ollie's supposed to do math for 5 minutes. That's all he's supposed to do when it comes home, 5 minutes. Get in the habit, you know what I mean? And then it builds as you gain momentum, right? So you have to identify where you're going to start. I started with 2 of everything a day, of the rest of it. And no one can tell me I do not care. I hear corporate people say things about 10 and stuff like that. Stop it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I know how the brain works. And if your feeling brain is making all the decisions, not your thinking brain, the feeling brain, the same place in your brain where decision making is housed is the same place that feelings are housed. It is always an emotional decision. This is your older part of your brain. It's up here where your rational thinking is. So if you can pause and let it go forward and deliver a different feeling back here, you know what I mean? Now you can make a different decision, right? So so how does this apply to us, right? If you think you wake up that day, like the alarm goes off, and you're like, oh, I didn't do my invites yesterday. I'm supposed to do my power hour. I'm not going to be I should probably do 10. Your feeling brain is going to be like, you don't even have 10 people to invite, Summer. Like what? Like that's a waste of your feeling brain's going to talk you into going back to sleep. Right? So you train the feeling brain. It's like if you wanted to take up, I don't know, I'll go with like a good type of meditation. Let's just say you're like, I need prayer. That's a good one, right? Where you'll hear people will go and do prayer for like hours. Have you guys ever heard people do that? And you're like, really, I can't even quiet my brain for 10 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, so go pray for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? Like something that you're feeling like, oh, I can do that. I can do that. You know what I mean? You are more likely, your feeling brain is going to say like, yeah, we can do that. Right. And then you gain momentum and the belief grows. Everything rises and falls on belief. So your belief grows, you guys, so that you're like, I kind of feel like praying for 5 minutes, or I kind of feel like inviting 5 people. I think I can do that, because your brain has already proven that it can do 2 or 3, and it's feeling pretty good about that. And this is where people mess up. An intensity that you can maintain for your feeling brain, multiplied by your belief. Anything multiplied by 0 is what? 0. Have you ever, anybody here ever done something and you're like, I swear I'm doing all the things and nothing's happening? Anybody ever felt that way? It's because it's multiplied by 0. Your belief is 0, right? The way you invite, the way you talk to people, communication is 93% nonverbal in your, like, you know what I mean? Just in the way you carry yourself, right? And so your belief about your value and what you have to offer is key, right? So if that's what is key, the foundation of all of this belief starts in one place for this business. Your journey is the foundation. That's what belief is built on in this specific business, okay? So you inspire from this place. You invite from this place. This is because a lot of times we don't want to invite because we believe it's going to take too long, or we believe why. Has anybody ever said like, why would anyone listen to me? Have you ever thought that? Right? Well, guess what? They're not. You know what I mean? Like I ran a retreat, and I'll just tell you guys this story, but I won't say the actual cuss word. And I was sitting there teaching, and all of a sudden this lady was like, I'm so, like, she just started yelling, and I was like, stop. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. You're right. You are effed if that's what you believe, because literally the law of focus, like you will find what you seek, right? Whatever you're seeking. What am I thinking of? Gosh, there's a whole law to that many people talk about. But whatever, like it, I like to go neurological. I like to go to the brain, very into that kind of stuff. Like literally whatever you focus on, right? Law of attraction. No, it's like RAS. What? RAS. The RAS. Yes. I got you. I'm good. I'm past that. He's like, I know this stuff because I've listened to you teach it so much. But thanks, babe. I hear your little comments. Okay. He's like, I'm just trying to help. I know. So your RAS, like it literally a part of your brain, right? Well, certain parts will light up depending on what you're focusing on, right? Like this is so real, right? So if you are like, my husband is so frustrating, which they are sometimes, aren't we all? I always heard that if Jesus had to die for my husband, he was probably going to get under my skin. I was like, oh, that makes sense. And I probably get under his skin, let's be honest. So like, if you focus on that, you will start to see things, like you'll see everything that's frustrating you. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you just get a new car. Like I remember when we got a minivan, didn't last long. So I got the minivan, side note, because my kids like were bickering. Anybody else's kids bicker in the car? What's up with the car? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, no, just my kids bicker in the car. Like they just have like little comments. Like I want to put like dividers up. Like, don't look at each other. You know what I mean? Privacy glass, exactly. Maybe I just need privacy glass. Like that's, but because I thought, oh, they're just too close to get, like, we just need to spread this out a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Like if their book bags don't touch each other, like they won't, well, it didn't change anything. So I got a different car. So, but as soon as I bought one, I swear I got in the line to pick them up at school. everyone had this minivan. I was like, was there running a special at the Honda dealership? Because no, they always had their minivans. It's just now I was programmed to see them. Like, you know what I mean? And so it's very real. And so being self-aware enough to intentionally focus on what you want to focus on. So I'll give you a little side note tip. Any of you guys work outside the house? Husbands work outside the house? Okay. When you go to work, okay, I call this staying inside the line, but when you go to work and you come home in the driveway, okay, you're crossing into a different playing field, I think, in sports, right? So when I played softball at the D1 level, when we crossed on the other side of the white line, we weren't allowed, literally, we were paid to play indirectly. So we weren't allowed to think about chemistry. You couldn't bring chemistry class into how you were hitting. Like, you know what I mean? You would lose your scholarship. There's some very real consequences. Just like Chad, when he flew for the Marine Corps, when he would go to fly his mission, he would text me and say walking. And all that meant was if the house catches on fire, if Griffin breaks his arm, if your car battery dies, can't help you. Nothing I can do about it. Literally, he couldn't. I mean, literally, if I had a heart attack or something and he was already out on the line, he's not coming down. Like, does that make sense? Like, he's flying a mission. I mean, they didn't even know if he'd be able to be there for the birth, like virtually, when we had Ollie. It was not like, oh, you might be, you might be delivering. We'll make sure to put you on the light schedule. Not how it works in the military. It's like, well, good luck with that. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're on the ground, we'll connect you to. So what I want you to think of it like that. When you're at work, be at work, man. You know what I mean? But when you come, visualize yourself crossing onto the white line, the game of parenting. You know what I mean? And stand there, like sit in your car, give yourself 3 to 5 minutes to visualize how you want your family to feel. How do you want to interact with them? What do you need to get done? And set your intention. How are you going to respond if they've had a bad day or whatnot? Set your intention, right? But it's called a transition period, right? And then step into the playing field. That is just a tip that will change everything in your business. When you sit down to work your business, like, you know what I mean? Like, my mom called today and I was working and I did not answer the phone. You know what I mean? I'm working, and it's just as important as when Chad used to fly missions in the military, because I'm down on the ground freeing women from prison. That's how I see it. I called my mom back when I was on the other side of the white line. You know what I mean? And so, wow, I'm really off on a tangent, Kelly. That didn't have anything to do with my notes, but that's just an extra, I guess, cherry on top. But your foundation, how did I get there? Your foundation is your journey.
I think it's so good though, because so many times when you're working, the two things that throw, I think, people off is lack of focus, that they have permission to be in it when they're working because of their belief, Yeah. And then also leaving your invites on your screen and going and loving your kids and trusting that because you're following the success equation, it will work out. Like, you don't have to be like this all day or this all day.
That is the fastest way for you to burn out, resent your business, and your family to hate what you're doing, when really what we do is quite powerful. Right? So, I mean, one time I had someone that was trying to pick between me and Melanie Mitro. Whoever responded the fastest, got her. I feel like God saved me on that one, because I don't respond on Saturday. I'm on date night. And she was, and she let me know. I picked Melanie because you didn't respond fast enough. I was like, oh shoot, I'm so sorry, Melanie. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, all yours, girl. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so like, you do have to, exactly, moving right along, you do have to have that faith. You know what I mean? Not to mention, like, people duplicate you, right? And so that person might love you responding all the time until you say, hey, have you ever considered doing what I do? And they're like, oh, hell no, you're always on your phone. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to paint that picture. So the first thing that you have to do is give yourself permission to focus on your foundation of your journey. I look at it like the recipe of everything. Like we're making, like, I really like macaroni and cheese, y'all. Like I grew up on Kraft. Anybody else grow up on that type of thing? Okay, I grew up on that. But I really like a good mac and cheese on Thanksgiving. So it's like putting all the ingredients in, like, so your ingredients, you're inviting, you're connecting, all of that. That's like the noodle. Social media is like the cheese, and you know what I mean? Like personal development is like the pan. Have any of you guys ever started to build your business and it feels freaking messy and you're like, what is happening? You start to get anxious. Yeah, it's because you didn't put it in a pan. You just took your ingredients, mixed all of them, and you threw it in the oven, and it's like, do you know what I mean? Like, you just need to put it in a pan. That's all you need. It's not, you don't suck or anything. Just get your pan out, get your personal development out, put your ingredients in a pan. You know, I can always tell if we just need more personal development because we start to get anxious about our business and we start, oh my God, overthinking and, you know, knowing I'm not going to be a good leader. All that. I'm like, oh, just gotta put it in the pan. Like, do you know what I mean? And as you build your team, you just have a bigger pan. You just need a little bit more personal development. That's it. Like, you know, which is the best gift of all, because really the best gift is the growth that happens in the process. The oven, like, have you ever forgot to put something in the oven? Have you ever forgot to put anything in the oven before for dinner, or plug in the crock pot? That really makes me mad when I do that. You know what I mean? I feel like people will do all the things, like I'm doing my personal development, I'm connecting with people. Everybody's saying no. I'm like, did you put it in the oven? Did you make your fitness, your wellness a priority? That's the oven. You really want to cook your invites and everything like that. It's creating a gap. Right? It's just, and the gap doesn't have to be huge. It's just creating a gap and being aware of it. You might have the oven turned on. You just forgot to put it in the oven. You're not even valuing the story. Does that make sense? Yeah, that really stinks, Jen. When that happens, that is like, makes me so mad. So I want you to give yourself permission to make that your number one priority. Because do you really want to make a lot of money or help, like I do want to help a lot of people, but at the detriment of your own health? Like, does it even matter at that point? I don't think so. At the detriment of your energy levels and your patience with your kids? No, take all my money. That's how I feel. I'll live in an apartment. I don't care. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have to know what you're willing to sacrifice and what you're not. I'm not willing to sacrifice my wellness. So this is where you inspire people from, and they locate themselves in your story and say, maybe I could do that. Look at what she's gone through and look what she's doing. So, like, you know what I mean? Like, Kelly, like, you have a lot of kids, you know what I mean? And like, you've had a lot of struggles. Like, what are you doing? Like, you want people to say that, like, you're still positive, not perfect. What are you doing? Like, you want people to locate themselves and say, why not me? Okay. So our job isn't to be perfect. I want you to write this down. Our job is to look for solutions in our journey and then share them with other people. That's your job, right? So we struggle. We're human. Our job is to always be solution oriented. Yep. So our job is to look for solutions in our personal journey and then share those solutions, right? So like Chalene Johnson always says, if you're going through something, pick up a pen, start taking notes. It's going to be used for good somehow if you let it, you know what I mean? So how did you get through it? What worked? What didn't work? You could be like, this ever happened to anybody? Like, oh my gosh, like I had these goals and I went like all in, right? And I was on day 56 and then I started to go backwards. And if it happened to anybody, like I started to go backwards. Okay. So there's nothing to hate on you. Maybe you're like, and so I pushed harder. I don't know if you did or not. And I pushed harder. And then I realized I wasn't working. You just found out, it's not that you suck. You just found out one way not to do something. Like, do you know what I mean? And now your job is to share those kind of things. Look for a solution. So what'd you do? I backed off and started working out every other day. Okay, there's a solution. Like, do you know what I mean? Did it work? Our job is to just look for solutions to what we're going through, right? And ask, like, what did I say about solutions? Find someone that's successful. Success leaves clues. And then implement what they say, right? Those consistency things, right? So that's what a team is for. someone on your team or within our organization has struggled like you. We really got to stop thinking, and Josh talked about this the other day, we have got to stop thinking that we're the only one that have gone through what we're going through. You know what I mean? Like, there are other people that have struggled with fill in the blank. We just have to find someone that has gone through it and is coming out on the other side and ask, okay, awesome. Like, I feel like I'm going through something like that. Kelly, what'd you do to get through it? Then you have to resist being an asshole. Have you ever heard that term before? An asshole? Like someone that asks for advice and doesn't put it into practice. Like, do you know what I mean? Like an asshole. The first time I heard that, I was like, oh, that's good. I never want to be an asshole. Like, you know, ask for a solution and then be like, there. As my mom, unless Dr. Oz says it, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, I've been saying things for years that Dr. Oz started teaching, and my mom's like, did you hear? I'm like, I've never heard that. Tell me more about that. Or the Cute Doctor show. There's some cute guy doctor or something. If he says it, holy moly. That's fine, wherever she's got to hear it from. But you have you have to use the word, just circle. My job is to find a solution. Okay. My job. So how are we doing so far, Kelly, with what we're talking about? We good? I know I only have about 12 minutes, right? Or do I not? See, my team calls go for an hour. What do yours go for, a half hour? Oh, I was going to say that I'm 18 minutes over. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay. So, So once this really is the foundation that all of this is built on. Can I share my screen, Kelly, now? Okay. Can you guys see that? Okay, there's definitely some blemishes on this, but it's gonna have to work for now, you know, until I don't know. I did the best I could and covered up some things. So anyway, this is the customer journey. Okay, once your foundation is what the roads and everything are built on, right? Like, have you ever seen roads built on like unsecured or sand, and the roads crack? Right? Like, so this part we need to understand that our story is our superpower, give ourselves permission. We need to understand the success equation. Once you're all good with that and understanding that, like not being perfect at it, but understanding it, I feel like we can now start to build this journey on top of it. And everything starts up here. This is your list. Everything. Whether you're a minister trying to build a church, or you are, you know, starting your own, name it, XYZ. Maybe you're going to be teaching something, or you're starting this business, whatever. Everything starts with a list. Everything. Okay. So where does your list come from? This cannot be ignored. I don't care where your list comes from, what your preferred mode of meeting and connecting with people, but you have to, like, we are in the people business. Okay. My husband is in real estate, which my daughter explained to her teacher, called it tiny homes real estate. And we're like, you mean trailers, Riley? Oh yeah, I couldn't think of the word. So he buys trailers, and then he's the bank. People buy the trailer from him and he loans them the money. Okay. So it still all starts with a list. Like where are you going to get these homes from? Right. So he gets them from Craigslist, Facebook. Where else, Chad? Is that it? Yeah. Wow. Facebook. You can find tiny homes on Facebook. So, you know, but he's building his list, right? It doesn't matter what your mode is. Like, here I have like church. It's all about meeting, not selling them. It's about connecting with them, because behind every one person is 2,000. And if you value your story and you understand fulfillment comes from taking your story and using it to bless somebody else. True fulfillment. That's what's missing from a lot of people's life. True fulfillment is from there, right? So you have to meet people to bless people with your story, to give them hope, right? Now, what we'll talk about this, what they do with that hope, that's on them. They have to unwrap the gift, not you. Okay. But you have to have people to offer the gift to, right? Some you can get it, you know, meet people at sporting events on Facebook, Instagram, school, you know, like church, like where Craigslist, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? But you have to be meeting people if you're going to bless them, right? Okay, so it all starts with a list. Then everybody loves free stuff, right? Do you guys have freemiums, Kelly? Yes? Okay. I'm really big on freemiums, whether that's a free group or something free that you can bless somebody with, okay, from something that has helped you. Okay, it's very simple. Don't overthink it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's very simple. Like, my first freemium was a meal plan guide that I developed for myself 9.5 years ago. Okay, it was for me, right? And our team has used it because then they used it for themselves, and they're like, oh, this really did help me, right? It was back when, any of y'all ever overwhelmed by nutrition? Is that ever overwhelmed? Like, containers, circle, like, I don't even know, like plating it, like it can be like back in the day. Anybody ever read P90X nutrition guide? Oh my, like what? Like, Tony, really? Like, that's how I felt, a little frustrated. And so instead of all or nothing, I was like, okay, Summer, you're eating Pop-Tarts, waffles, sandwiches, and like hamburger helper. So you just need to clean it up a little bit. So I call it the cleaner, the eating cleaner, not clean eating. Let's not get back then. You cannot call what I did clean eating. There wasn't a whole lot of vegetables or things that came out of the ground necessarily, but it was moving in a positive direction, right? So I took that and made it for myself, right? And it helped me. By the time Chad got home, I never used Tony's system or whatever. And still to this day, I still kind of like make things for myself that way, like just trying to make progress. And then I gift it to other people. It's how all of my conversations start on social media, right? So things have changed since we have polls now. But if you're a newer coach or something, like knowing that someone has a struggle and saying, hey, girlfriend, I know that nutrition has really been, like, because you're friends with him, has really been a struggle. Like, this meal plan guide really, really helped me. And I just thought I'd pay it forward. Easy peasy. I started a new conversation with someone, right? Now you have a genuine follow-up that's like, hey, did you try any of the meals? What was your favorite dinner? Right? Okay. And then they're like, oh, I didn't try any of them. Talk to me about that. Do you struggle? Is it more a time thing? Is it more a belief thing? Is it a spouse support thing? What do you think keeps tripping up? Now you're finding the need. Do you see how it just can naturally progress? I do that with my Instagram polls now. Do you struggle more with nutrition or fitness? Nutrition, fitness / both. Everybody struggles with nutrition. Don't give me that fitness is really, if you were not struggling with nutrition, you'd be fine, because really 90% of your journey has to do with how you're fueling your body. So you're not going to answer my poll if you're not struggling with nutrition. Let's just be honest. Okay. So then I can sit like, hey, girlfriend, I saw that like nutrition trips you up. This is something that helped me 9 years ago when Chad was deployed. I had a 10-month-old 4-year-old, lived in the middle of nowhere, really frustrated in my skin, used to cry in the closet, when I would, try to get ready for a date night or go out with the girls. And this really helped. Just thought I would gift it to you, send it to you. That's it, right? So free stuff. You can do that with anything, okay? Whatever you guys are running, and that's what I had. You have, like, I know you can't see it, but right here, that's the trial of BOD. Like, that's free. I mean, I know they have to enter their stuff in. But anyway, then you have to understand we have different levels of packages. Okay? And this is something that like we have really been focusing on for the last 90 days when I kind of restructured the new Coach Rise Up Academy, is people understanding that there are different, we just have a toolbox, right? Just because there's not a success club attached to it doesn't mean it's not of value. Does that make sense? So yes, do we want everybody to do a challenge pack of some sort, or to, also combine that with Energize or something on our performance line? Yes, sure. Like, do you know what I mean? Yes, those are the pieces of putting it all together. But not everybody is there. That everybody is at a different place in their journey. And so understanding that, offering that, but also being willing to say, okay, then why don't we just start here? And you'll get invite examples on that, but you have to understand that you are not a failure if what you connect someone with that's really struggling with belief is the 3-day refresh one time. It's not on HD, so you're not going to get any credit for it, quote unquote, but one time to get them a small win. Hey, like, I feel like your belief is really struggling and you've been beating yourself up. What if we just do the 3-day refresh together and get you some small wins and kind of create a clean slate for you to build on, and we'll work together on some things from there. I'll get you surrounded. What a gift that we have that to offer to people, right? So people can go through here, right? Or they can go right around it. They can usually, I put this here because a lot of people like to offer the coaching at the same time, but not everybody takes it. Okay. So right here, you have to understand that you can go through here with people. Some people are going to go here. Some people are going to go from free and they're just going to stay on this road right here. You have anybody staying on the free road? I got an example for you. How many of you guys love Chalene Johnson? Anybody here love Chalene Johnson like I do? How many of you guys have never bought anything from her? Like substantial, you know what I mean? Like how many of you guys have never bought her MIA $2,000 big program, right? How many of you are like, but I use the heck out of her. I watch her on Instagram and man, I love her podcast. She brings some good people. You're just circling around here in her free. Does she write you off? Does she come on our podcast and, hey, look, stop messing around on my free crap? You know, I feel like people get so frustrated. Like, all they do is sit in my free group. They're just not ready. Like, you're just not like Sarah doesn't need MIA. It's so involved. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just not at that place probably yet. Heck, I bought it and didn't use it all the way. Does that mean I suck? Do you ever have anybody that buys the program, they weren't ready, and then they don't push play? And you're like, oh, what's wrong with you? Do you think Shalene's thinking like, oh, Sommer didn't finish MIA. Is it even valuable? Do I even matter anymore in the market? Like maybe I should just hang it up. Maybe it's the wrong. Maybe I should go a different. No, Shalene never says that stuff, but we say that to ourselves just because either someone wants to sit here or they purchase something and they don't use it to their full. Like now when I go back to Shalene and I re-engage, does she go like, are you really going to do it this time? Do you think that's what goes through her head? Or does she wipe the slate clean and says like, here we go? She puts a 10, I guarantee you, like John Maxwell, she puts a 10 back up on every single person's head, right? We just have to, she understands the customer journey, that there are different price points. Yeah, I heard you guys are doing clean week. That's also under 100, right? So literally people are more willing, like they don't have to talk to someone. They don't have to say like, I gotta talk to my husband for something that's $29, right? Am I right? Most people are like, oh, cool. Like if they're in a stage of change, like it's kind of like for Chad and I, if I go to the store and I buy something for $30, I don't text him. But if I go, I'm gonna buy something for $150, I'm gonna say, hey man, like I've been wanting this. Do you mind if I invest in it, you know, out of respect, right? But not down here. And sometimes if you can get people in the door, right, and get them some small wins, now they can go to their husband when they want to pay more and say, look, because you've taught them this, like you've shown them their wins. Like, look, I know I've done other things in the past, but I started with BOD. I've been consistent for the last 2 months. I would love to add this to the mix because this is what's important to me. Do you see what I'm saying? Like versus only focus is ever here because it shows up on a, I don't know, at Summit, you get to put like so many things right here. Last time I checked, if I went to the bank and said, I would just like to pay my car payment with all of these ribbons, they would say, what are you talking about? But don't you know I'm a Success Club All-Star? Like, it doesn't, like, no, it doesn't matter. Everything has commission attached to it. Why do we get so hung up like that? Okay. Not that it's bad. I'm just saying everybody's not there. Okay. And then coaching, right? Coaching. Someone's like, man, they're feeling the benefit of it. They love being around the community. And they have a story. Now it's like you've identified things that you love and would like to attract. And you say like, hey, like you've been so consistent, so passionate and so encouraging. I love that about you. And we were talking to our team about those kind of things that we're looking for in people. Have you remind me of that. Have you ever considered joining me? Like they still might say no, but they're not going to be like, how dare you call me consistent, encouraging, and passionate? You know what I mean? If anything, you just made their day. Most people go through a day without being complimented at all these days, right? So coaching, right? You teach them how to make $200 to $500.
That's the first momentum goal that we can do without having a team. And it's here that we start going, awesome. Like literally all I did was be consistent, like they told me to, for 30 minutes, and then did some studying at night and checking in with people. And I made an extra $200, or I made an extra $250. And so when you go to invite someone, like, hey, like, have you ever considered doing what I do? Is like, does anybody really make money with that? Well, I don't know, like, in the mom cracks and by focusing on my journey and giving other people hope, I made an extra $500 last night. Like, I can teach you how. Would that be beneficial to you? Like, would that serve you at all? Oh my gosh, yes, that would serve. Let me show you how to do it. Like, it takes all of the ick out of it. Do you know what I mean? It comes from a very genuine place. Okay. So I know we're at our time here, Kelly, and I'm going to break this. I'm going to 4 things. 1, you need a list. 2, you have to offer it. You have to offer the coffee, as I call it. Y'all, like, have you ever been to Bob Evans? I'm going to take this off right here. Have you ever been to Bob Evans and they come around with coffee? Any coffee drinkers on here? Anybody? Okay. How many of you guys would be pissed if they never came and offered you the coffee because you didn't look like the kind of person that drank coffee? Like, don't you, right? That's crazy. I'd be so mad. Hey, you know what I mean? Like, they're like, well, you had blonde hair and you were super fit. I didn't think that you drank coffee. Well, no, damn it, I drink coffee. Like, do you know what I mean? Like literally we do that. Right now, here's the other side of thing. Have any of you guys been taking a break from coffee? Has anybody done that yet before, or just not been in the mood? Megan's like, what are you talking about? Well, I have, okay? Just like I've done the ultimate reset, or for my adrenals, I've taken a break from, and I've still gone to, let's say Bob Evans, and they come over and say, would you like any coffee? And I'm like, no, thank you. Does she go like, don't you know what's in here? Like the beans are from the best place. There's no mold in them. They're totally organic. Try some. No, just try some. No, I'm not leaving until you try some. Oh my God, she didn't want my coffee. I'm probably not meant to be a server of coffee. I hate myself. Nobody does that but Beachbody coaches. Beachbody coaches offer something. Someone says no, and we're like, oh my God. We try to talk them into it. Like, don't you know, like, how much you're spending on Starbucks? And this is how much it is. Like, we try to shame them into it. I see it all the time, right around unicorn season, whatever unicorn frappuccino comes out, and people do this comparison to shame everybody into drinking it. You know what I mean? Like, we shame people. We try to figure out how it fits in their budget. And then, if that doesn't work, we try to tell them all the prebiotics and all the ingredients that are in it to try to convince them, and to the point where like we have just scared us. Like, you know what? I think I'm going to go eat at Fresh, what's it called? First Watch. I'm going to eat somewhere else. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, because it's too much. But we do that, right? Or then we don't say anything. We crumble. We cry. Like we get so, it's not about that. You're just offering something that you think is good. That's it. Not everybody's going to think it's good, right? So that's a mindset shift, right? So 2, you have to offer the coffee. 3, you have to give them options, right? How many of you guys drink creamer in your coffee? Anybody here use creamer? No creamer? Black? Honey? Agave? Like, there's all these different kinds. Can you imagine if I was like, no, you're going to drink it my way, damn it. You know, like, this is how we're going to drink it. This is how, you know what I mean? You put the different colors of cream, like coffee on there. And it's like, if you don't drink it with this color, like, you're wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Not that we do that, but you know what I mean? Like, there's different ways to drink coffee. There's cold, there's hot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of creamer, a little creamer. There's no creamer, there's sugar. There's so many different ways. Well, guess what? We have that package too. We have so many different ways to work on ourselves. We can start with the 3-day refresh, or we can just start with, 3 months of BOD, or we can start with the whole package, or we can start the package and coaching for the community. There's just different options. Doesn't make anything right or anything wrong. Can you imagine if I was offering coffee and they said they wanted creamer, and that, which is like saying I just want BOD 3 months. I drink mostly creamer. That's the same. It's like, do you know? It's going to take a lot longer than that. You know what I mean? The better deal is like, and we try to talk people into it instead of just embracing where they're at. You know what I mean? They've already told us, we've offered our package. You know, we talked about the needs. We told them which one we think that they should take. That's not the one they want. So downsell them, give them their damn creamer. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they'll make progress, right? They'll make progress, and we have to. So give them their package options. And I heard that your team has been brainstorming really cool packages with Energize and different things that to offer them. I love that. Offer them packages, let them decide what's the best fit for them, right? And then number 4 is you're sorting people. That's all you're not offended by things. You're sorting people. Like I think I understand that the package you guys are offering with Energize. Still doing that, right, Kel and Sarah? Right? And they get a Zoom call. Is that right? So you're just sorting. They picked this package, they get this. They picked this package, they get that. Like, it is really just a sorting. The same thing goes for coaching, right? Someone says, you know, you say to someone that watched your coaching opportunity webinar or whatever, you say, what did you like best? Tell me more about that. What does that mean to you? Who stuck out to you? Tell me more about that. Why? Like, oh my gosh, awesome. Let's get you set up and get you surrounded by the community and a little added accountability to your journey. They just told you what they wanted. Don't try to make them a 6-figure earner yet. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you're literally just sorting, right? When people show up or don't show up, you're just sorting right now. Like, if they're not showing up as much as you like, they're just telling you where they want to be. Motivate with no strings attached. Someone's plugging in, doing all the things, mentor them a little closer, put them on a tracker so you can find the holes in their boat, so to speak. It's all, there's no, like, don't be offended based on what other people choose is the best fit for them, but always be open to them moving up. Like, do you know what I mean? Awesome. Put the tin back on their head. Does that kind of make sense, you guys? Right? And I want you to remember, I'll leave you guys with this, 87% of your success, according to John Maxwell, is based on your ability to take consistent action in the areas that you need to, your values, and your people skills. That's it. Notice I didn't say in there how you invite, your wording. That's how you put the filter you put on your social media. That can help, sure, but that's the 13%. Don't spend all your time working on the 13%. Work on being consistent in the areas that your coaches are telling you to, right? Working well with people. You're given 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So listen to the need, connect them, right? And your values, the things that are important to you. Tracy Morrow said at a retreat that I just did, I want to make sure, I won't be able to find it fast enough. I want to get you on here. She said, actively cultivate friendships that have the values that you have, right? So you decide what you would love to see in a teammate, right? Or a challenger, and actively cultivate those values, right? And just be asking yourself, am I actively pursuing those values? No. What can I do different? It's just that. That's 87% of your success. And the cool part is all of that, while inviting doesn't really bleed and like social media doesn't, those skills don't bleed into the other areas of your life. 87% of what you're required to learn to be successful here also applies to your marriage. It applies to your friendships. It applies to your family. It applies to the job that you go every day. How cool is that? That this here is going to teach you how to thrive there. That is so cool to me. Okay, Kelly. Oh my gosh, I'm 11 minutes over. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. This is awesome. So much good. So much good. Y'all, this is what I love. Like, I've been a coach for 6 years, and even though I've heard the success equation, I always get a new thing that pops out. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to read over tonight, and this was so good. Like, because this is what we've been talking about this week is like, it's not just our story about us. It's how you remember where you were. You remember the gap. You create the gap. Like, I love how you talked about you got to create the gap, but it doesn't mean you got to create the Grand Canyon.
No.
It could be let's look at the gap.
Analogy, Kelly.
You know what I mean? Like, it could be like you jumped over the pothole
Yeah.
and now you can help someone not fall in it. Like, it doesn't have to be, I think we have to hit, I got to be making a full-time income before I can build my team. You're never going to make a full-time income if you don't build a team. Like,
Right.
that was one thing Josh said on the recruiting call, where he was like, you can help people get to where you are. And when you help them get to where you are, you'll get to where you want to be.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you've helped one person with a clean meet. Guess what? Your next coach, you can help sign up their first customer. This was so good. I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
I know everybody was chatting on the side, and like, so good, you know. And
I tell you guys, if you are struggling with self-esteem or self-confidence, it's just because you're losing sight of the gap that you have. There's always good, like, no faith. If you want to get to here and you get to here, it's very dangerous not to create another gap, because faith doesn't live here. And we really, like, we need to live in a place of faith. So you need to create another gap. That's the growth. Like, do you know what I'm saying? And so if you're struggling with self-confidence, you're just not respecting the gap that has already been created. Like, do you know what I mean? So just write down write down the gap. Remind yourself, read it every day, where you were, where you are now. Doesn't mean you have to be completely satisfied, whatever, with where you're at. Of course, we want to grow, but you only get to here. The person that goes from here to here, from here to here, respected every single gap in between and learned how to say, embrace their gap and be like, you know, I can teach people about this gap and how to, you know what I mean? And it gets excited. And we all have a gap. It doesn't always show up on the scale. It doesn't always show up in your paycheck. It's just like a basketball player. I was talking to the athletic department about this today. You will have players on your team that will never score a point, but added so much value to that team that it's not even funny, that if we don't learn how to recognize that, we're going to miss a big piece of what creates a healthy team culture. Mm-hmm. Right? So you have got to look at all of the things, little and big, that have created a gap for you and talk about it. That's where your self-esteem too, your confidence is going to come from. Mm-hmm. Right? So
I agree. Yes. Like, definitely do that activity if you guys haven't, and revisit it quarterly.
Yes.
Not, like, I probably need to do it again. I think I did it right before Summit. So it's about time.
And don't tell me what you've gone backwards in. Well, we don't, like, sure, troubleshoot, you know what I mean? But, and be honest with where you're at, but do not meditate or talk. Remember the law of focus. If you keep talking about where you're not, guess what? You'll just live there. Like, do you know what I mean? So yes, it's like a rear. Can you imagine if you're teaching your 16-year-old how to drive and all they wanted to look at is in the rear view mirror? That'd be dangerous, right? We can't do that ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, sure, glance. You have to glance, like, but don't live there, you know? So,
yeah. Well, we close our call in prayer. So
I love it.
I
was hoping you would say that.
Yes. It's definitely part of our culture, which I'm really thankful for. I'm so thankful for your time. Thank you so much, you guys. Thanks for being here tonight. Let's close out in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for our time together tonight. I'm so grateful for Sommer, for her friendship, for her leadership, for her mentorship, for her belief and passion, Lord, of just shining true, authentic business building skills that are purpose-driven and rooted in the truth, Lord, of serving others. God, I pray for her. I pray for her family and her discernment and all of the wonderful things you have going on in her life right now. I'm thankful for her yes that rippled down, Lord, to this team being here today. I pray for every coach who's here, every coach who's listening, they will be inspired to see the value in their story and to respect their gap and to share it. I pray for the challengers we'll be serving this month and in the months to come. I pray for the coaches who will be joining our team. I pray for the women and men who are going to find freedom through the courage of the coaches who will reach out and extend their hand. And I'm just so grateful and humbled to be here, God, and ask that you would just hold us close, unite us in our intention, Lord, to serve, heal us, God, of all of the things that hold us back, and show us how that freedom that we find in this coaching business, beyond finances, beyond the scale, can bring freedom to marriages and families, to motherhood, to friendship, to community, to churches, to culture. And I just pray that you would just cover every corner of our life with your grace and your mercy and your peace. And we offer all these things in your most holy name. Amen. Thank you so much. Have an awesome night. Take care, everybody.